Hey again, it's your TSW girl in the tub for a tub vlog. It's still a month, 4.5. I got a really great sleep last night. I was only up once for like an hour and a half. Usually I'm up like 3 times for an hour and a half and get like 2, maybe 3 hours of sleep in between each little itch attack. So anyway, I had great sleep last night. I was only up once for like an hour and a half, and obviously I was up a bunch of times in between them, but I had to get out of my bed itching out of my mind for an hour and a half, so victory. Oh yeah, so I wanted to talk about like my first 3 months of TSW. For me personally, when I am looking for like comfort via the interwebs about TSW, I'm just trying to gauge my experience versus like everybody else's experience, being like, if this is your timeline, maybe this will be my timeline too. I don't know. So anyway, I'm going to share my timeline and my experience just so that you have information and can hopefully move forth with more power, since information is power. So month 1 for me was debilitating garbage, as it is for everybody. Just for me, my TSW has been literally crown of my head to the like part of the bottoms of my feet. I don't have it on my heels and like the front little pad of my metatarsals, but anyway, literally from head to toe. So it started out really bad on my face and neck. That's where I was using steroids the most, and that's where your skin is the thinnest as well. So it looked like 3rd-degree burns on the back of my neck, and literally like anything touching the back of my neck was just excruciating. Like I was in so much pain the first 2 months, and I'm just going to kind of lump the first 2 months together because there was really no sort of difference between the two for me. I didn't know that I was going through TSW for like a few weeks, so my month counter is definitely little conservative. Like I would tack on a couple of weeks onto month number 1. There's kind of weeks 0 and sprinkled in there. But I remember being at work and just being wet all over, like in between like my legs when I was sitting. So I would have to like sit with my legs open, and like the back of my neck would be like just kind of oozy, and I was like, this is really weird eczema. Like I've never had this before, and like, why am I shivering constantly? I had a space heater under my desk and was like, had that at full blast all the time. Everybody who would come into my office would be like, why is it so hot in here? Like, oh my gosh, I'm freezing. Like, I am shivering. I would have a winter coat on. Like, I don't know what's going on. So my mom found out about Itsan and saw this, and I also found out that the cream that I thought was just herbal Chinese medicine had clobetasol in it, the like strongest steroid that you can possibly have, and I've been using that on my face and body for at least 2 years. Oh, like so angry thinking about it now, right? Like just being really deceived by stupid Chinese quote unquote medicine. Anyway, so figured out those 2 things kind of simultaneously. Was like, oh my gosh, this is me. So the last day that I was able to go into work, like I was wearing super baggy clothes, and I had to like go into the bathroom multiple times to like pick just sheets of skin off of my face. I mean, that had been going on for months before this, but like just huge sheets of skin coming off my face. So I'd just pick them off, and then it would ooze, and I'd kind of dab it off in the bathroom and put more foundation over top. And my boss came in my office once and was like, why is your face so red? I'm like, oh, I felt like crying. Like I had been working literally for 2 hours. I'd get up 2 hours earlier than I would to go into work than like my normal wake up time, so that I could scrub my face with a washcloth and get all of the flaky, dead, horrible skin off of my face and neck. And scrub, and moisturize and wait for that to kind of sink in, and scrub, and moisturize, and then put my makeup on. And then getting into work and my boss going, your face looks really red. It's like, I spent like 2.5 hours on my face, and I thought it looked really good. So anyway, like, was just hard. It's so hard. And it was hard not knowing what was going on and why my face was so red and why I was wet and why like I had all these raised blistery patches on my body and just being in the shower crying like this cannot be the rest of my life. Like this is so horrible. Like my eczema is so bad. Why is my skin so bad? So it was a relief and also kind of a total downer to hear about TSW. But finally to hear that like there is an end to this suffering and this isn't going to be the rest of your life. And also, by the way, this isn't eczema, this is steroid withdrawal. Oh my gosh, what a relief. So I had to quit work because like I literally couldn't function anymore and just ended up being wrapped in zinc clothes for about, I don't know, 2-3 months. Everybody says, like for TSW, it feels really great to be in cotton and make sure it's nice and baggy. And I totally agree that cotton is the bomb. Like, get cotton. But I really, really liked these zinc clothes. They're by a couple different brands. The one that I can remember is Soothems. It makes you really feel like a posh adult wearing a brand called Soothems. But they're really tight, like leggings and really tight shirts, kind of like Under Armour, but it's made out of cotton and it has zinc in the fabric. And I needed those like bandages. Like they were excruciating to get on my whole body when it was so painful, but like I needed my moisture to be kind of locked in. And so that was really good for me. I'll talk about that more in a different video, products that I liked and helped me. But it was just constant ooze just pouring out of me for the first 3 months and just smelling so bad all the time and hurting so much all the time. I had Vicodin left over from a surgery and I was taking like a Vicodin every day and I really wasn't even touching it. So anyway, just really, really low points in my life. And I actually went over to my parents' house and lived there for like a weekend so that my mom could nurse me and wrap me in sheets in bed and just wrap me during the day and try to keep me warm because I was just uncontrollably shivering all the time. And I still do have these huge lymph nodes in my like pelvis area. They're like the size of golf balls. Like they're just gigantic. Thankfully, I talked to my Dr. Rappaport about that and he said that that's normal. Tons of people with TSW have super huge lymph nodes. Josh on Josh's recovery talked about his huge lymph nodes. So not scared about that, thank goodness. But that causes horrible cramping for me. Like from those huge lymph nodes, like my whole lower body and like abdomen will just like intensely cramp up. And it's like just, I don't know if you've ever had any kind of cramp on your body. It's just horrible. It's so, so bad. So that was one of the worst parts and has been one of the worst parts for me with TSW. If I get even slightly cold, my whole body will just like tighten up like a vice and it's so painful just from, I think it's those lymph nodes down there. It's just horrible. So anyway, just trying to keep me as warm as I could. I had like heat coming off of my body where I was like hot to the touch, but I couldn't stop shivering. So just all the classic TSW stuff like that. And just trying to make it through each night without going crazy because I couldn't sleep because I was in so much pain and my face was sticking to my pillow and every time I would turn over, like if I could turn over, like I don't think I could turn over for the first 2 months. I would go to sleep and then wake up in that same position because it was just way too painful to turn over. I can turn over now, so you know, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but turning over meant sleep like a big girl. But yeah, I don't remember a ton of the first few months. I don't really know how I got through it. Tons and tons of tears and just thinking, for me, there's a lot of self-delusion in the first few months where it's like, you know, this is going to be over and I'm going to be functional by month 3, so I've just got to kind of gut this out. By the end of month 3, I'm going to be all right, you know. This is going to suck for now, but just you wait, Dr. Rappaport. You said that I was going to be better in like a year and a half, 2.5 years. I'm going to be better so fast. And wow, that was devastating for like when I got to month number 4 and I still sucked. But anyway, that's a different story talking about months 1 through 3 and my journey there. But don't set a timeline for yourself. I already have a different video that says that, but your journey is your journey, and just keep trucking through as best you can. So I remember first when I learned about TSW, and I was like, baths feel so good. I was like, baths are for quitters. Like, I'm taking a shower, and like, I've always been a devoted nighttime shower. Like, I think that morning showers are disgusting. So sorry for morning shower, just throwing that out there. Just kidding. But so I was thinking like, oh, baths, gross. Like, I'm not ever gonna be that disabled. And taking a shower and then just like collapsing in the shower because I was so tired and crying because I was so uncomfortable and just didn't even know how I could make it out of the shower. So after that night I was like, well, maybe I'll try a bath, I don't know. And baths are the best. So anyway, if you're not taking baths, try and take a bath. It's really wonderful relief, and you're still, I promise, going to heal. So yeah, I've just watched a lot of movies and a lot of TV shows. When I was first like getting really rashy, but hadn't started with like my entire body is a festering scab phase, I was able to read, but my vision got really bad, and just I was not in an emotional place where I could even concentrate to read. It was just like every day, just like half, even being sentient, like just feeling like a half a person, like you don't have a personality, like you are just a scab who is hot and cold and oozy and stinky and weepy, and it's just so terrible. So anyway, really glad that time's behind me, and for anybody who is in their first few months, it does get better. My big turning point was definitely like, I don't know, maybe 2 months, I don't know when it was. I've made a different video about it. But feeling like one day I woke up and like all of those crinkly potato chippy scabs were kind of mostly gone, and it turned my itching, like nasty skin was more like little tiny scabby things versus like these big sheets. So you are getting better. Look for the little signs of progress, like your skin rash and your skin scabs and dead skin. It changes over time, so kind of look for that like slowly, I think the huge sheets that I had got smaller, and to this point I just kind of have just tons and tons of dust coming off of me constantly. It's super gross, but it's tons better than where I was, and I am barely oozy at all. I have like a big oozy patch on my chin, and then my nose randomly split open and ended up oozing like crazy, like at the end of month 3. Like I had, for my red skin phase, like my entire face was completely red, but I had like around here on my nose that was still white. And then just randomly, like end of month 3, like, oh, haha, by the way, like you're gonna have like ooze around here on your nose and feel like a dog. So that's still there. My ears are tons better than they were. Those were like one of the most affected parts of my body besides my neck. So that's really great to have done. So that's where I've been. I'm getting better, definitely. Like I still have just about as much skin in the tub every day as I did 3 months ago, but it's a different quality of skin, and the skin underneath my dead skin is so much stronger, and I can itch it without like just touching it and having sheets come off. So I'm not being eloquent anymore, so I'll say bye.